Hi, welcome back to the channel. How many stocks should you hold in your portfolio? That is a question that I'm going to try to answer today by creating a framework so you can figure out what's the right number for you. There are 3 steps to consider here. The first, your willingness to put in the time to track, monitor, and learn about investing. The second, how long have you been investing for? The third, what is your expected rate of return? We are going to go through and break down each factor, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding as to how either diversified or concentrated your portfolio should be. Do let me know in the comments if you like these sort of investing for beginner type of videos and if there are specific topics that you'd like me to cover in the future. Great, so let's get into it. The first factor is how willing are you to put in the time to track, monitor, and learn about investing. If you're someone who is just too busy with either work, family, or anything else and can't be bothered to just monitor your portfolio, then that's fantastic because you already have your answer. The best thing for you to do is be invested in the most broadly diversified, low-cost ETFs. A globally diversified ETF portfolio will ensure that your invested capital never goes to zero. By investing in just one ETF, you are invested in thousands of companies across the globe. A monthly contribution to this sort of ETF will probably make you very wealthy over the long term, like maybe say 15 or 20 years. And all of this is done without the stress of worrying about what's happening in the markets or what any individual company is actually doing. However, if you say that, no, I want to learn about investing and I want to buy individual stocks, I'm going to put in the time and effort that it requires. It's probably because you think that by learning about individual companies and picking stocks, you are more likely to achieve a higher rate of return. You're not entirely wrong when it comes to that, perhaps, but that would mean that you would have to go to the second factor in this framework. The second factor in this framework is how long have you been investing for? Now, we've established that you are someone who wants to pick stocks and get invested in individual businesses. If you have just started your brokerage account and are about to buy Apple, Amazon, Tesla, then make sure to watch my other video before doing that. It explains why buying into those companies may be a bad idea for just people who are beginning in the stock market. Being new to the stock market, it might be a better idea for you to segregate your portfolio into 2 categories. One focused on passive investing, and the other focused on buying individual stocks. The reason for doing this is that it's quite difficult to figure out what's a good business and what's not. You may get lucky a few times and start thinking that this is easy. But if there happens to be a correction and you lose 50% of your hard-earned money, how would you feel? You won't know what it's like until you actually go through it yourself. By having a passive investing portion as the lower risk segment of your portfolio, while the individual stocks are more focused, you can slowly start to, ease your way into having a fantastic long-term portfolio. When picking individual stocks, set a limit. Like I cannot have more than say 5 or 3 stocks within this segment of my portfolio. The more focused you are, the better you're going to do as an investor because you'll be buying into each new investment with more conviction and after weighing out the opportunity costs. Now, if you've been in the market for some time, you probably only hold individual stocks. So take a good hard look at your portfolio and be brutally honest with yourself. Ask the question, am I a closet passive investor? If your portfolio is filled with 50 of the biggest companies, each with a 2% allocation, then what you're doing is basically passive investing. There may be a slight tilt towards say value or dividends or growth, whatever. But if this is your portfolio, then it's essential for you to understand the third part of this framework. What is my expected rate of return? When building an investment portfolio, you need to think about it in compounding terms. Use the rule of 72. If you want your money to double, say, every 5 years, right? So you need to find stocks that'll give you a 15% rate of return. If you want to double your money every 3 years, then you have to get at least a 26% rate of return per year. The higher your expected rate of return, the more selective you have to be with what you add to your portfolio. It's going to be very difficult to find stocks if your required rate of return is above 25%. Your 7th idea is not going to have the same level of conviction as your 2nd idea. In my opinion, the more stocks that you add to your portfolio, the more you dilute your long-term performance. You really don't need to have more than a handful of investments to become extremely wealthy in the long term. This is according to Charlie Munger, by the way, who is a billionaire with, I think, only like 3 or 4 investments directly. So yeah, hope that this framework sort of helps you figure out how many stocks would be a good number for you to have in your own portfolio. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for watching.